Grave Reviews, this is Chris.
Have you checked the children?
There's no children here. It's not safe for them.
This is Alan, and Chris is right. Grave Reviews is intended for mature audiences. Your discretion is advised.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Grave Reviews presents Thursday Night Frights. I hope everyone's having a lovely Thursday. And how are you doing today, Mr. Chris, sir?
I'm doing well, doing well. It's always a good time when we're going to sit down and talk some horror.
Always,
Reviews.
always. It makes me just giddy happy on Thursdays when I know that we're coming up on Showtime. It really does help. At least for me, it helps me get through the week, and so thank you to you, and thank you to our lovely and wonderful chat room for being here tonight. The Talking Dead, as we call them, and tonight we're talking about a little movie called Legion. This is one that you brought up, and you brought it up. I think, if I'm not mistaken, and I could be, but if I'm not mistaken, you brought it up because of one particular scene. And well, thanks, love. I like the shirt as well. It was a gift from someone dear to me. So, um, so anyway, so this is it's kind of an apocalyptic end of world
A
angel,
little spin to it on the
so,
apocalypse.
and all starring Vision from Marvel.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
yeah,
He's,
and he doesn't play with his wings until the end of this one, and that drives me crazy. Hello, Tina just walked into the room. Tina's here, Scott's here. Of course, we saw Mar, and there's a guy named Dragon Buddy in the chat. I don't know who
yeah,
that.
he's in there.
He's an ass, I hear.
He's a Deadpool fan. You can tell. Those Deadpool fans.
Yep. So, anywho, so Legion, what made you bring this one to the table for us
I
tonight?
think it was Paul Bettany in a couple things I had seen on TV, and it was a flashback to this movie. It's weird for horror because it's a lot of action.
Mm-hmm.
But the horror portion of it being the apocalypse, the end of the world, and their demons coming after us with nasty teeth. Nope, those are the angels with the nasty teeth.
Yeah, that was where it was kind of got weird because it was literally one of those situations where you're thinking it's going to be the normal angels versus devils kind of situation, and it's not. It's angels versus mankind because God got tired.
God's tired of all the bullshit and said, you know, uh, kill everyone and kill this unborn child, and we erase it. We flip the monopoly board,
You
and
don't know how funny that actually is.
most of you know what I'm talking about. Just flipped it right on its head, and yeah, and a test of faith, I guess. Another running true with some of our topics here.
Yeah, and I'm going to tell you that there's a line at the end of the end of the movie that I loved, and we'll get there. It's one of my favorite lines from the movie,
Mhm,
between Michael, the archangel, and Gabriel.
mhm.
Really, an interesting take on the whole end of the world type scenario.
Right. Yeah, very strange. We start this movie off almost like Terminator style with Michael falling to Earth, L.A., um, and cutting his wings off, and sewing, I guess, the gaping holes. A little rough on the makeup, but
Yeah, yeah.
sewing himself up, and then basically arming himself in I guess a weapons factory in the middle of LA. Um,
It
Not
w
pushing it.
really it was kind of a strange setup because you're thinking to yourself, "Is this something that he, for whatever reason, made for himself?"
Made for himself, knew about. Is it some sort of triad like warehouse? Is it some? It just seems off that there's this
Yeah,
many guns sitting in the middle of downtown LA.
yeah. But as we both are painfully aware, it's called convenience by plot hole. Um,
Or it's just a movie. Stupid.
yeah,
Shut up.
yeah. Turn your analytical brain off. This is about a guy
I,
who comes down to earth and
maybe this is why there are no weapons manufacturing places in the middle of LA because this could happen.
yes,
So
yeah. Because if the archangel decides to go against God and come down and try to save mankind, where else is he going to get his weapons other than the middle of LA?
okay,
Okay, yeah,
sure. Yeah,
yeah,
all right.
okay, whatever.
Sounds
I guess.
legit. Yeah, we'll go. We got it. He got the weapons. We've got a couple of cops that seem to play off the feeling of the police in especially LA.
Yes.
That he's just looking at the homeless people and talking about picking them off one by one, and you're like, and his partner's sitting there like, cut it out.
Yeah. Stop doing that. What's
What
wrong with
you doing?
you?
Wow. I'm not scared of the guy that just crashed to earth and ripped his wings off and then just robbed to get two giant duffel bags full of weapons. I'm scared of the cop.
Yeah. Yeah. And the thing of it is that they okay, so this has a really good cast in it overall. The main
Yeah.
characters have a good
Yeah.
cast. I think it's the writing where it kind of falters a little bit because this is a good movie that, if you and I and say Hunter and Tina, were just sitting in a room together with drinks in our hand watching, we would have a really good time making fun of this
Oh
movie
yeah, you
while
could
we're
roast this
watching it.
movie. You could riff on it
Um,
throughout.
because, again, Paul Bettany was great in it. The cast as a whole was good in this one.
Hmm.
But there's some like the cops and
The
some of the
awkward
other
moments of
stuff.
dialogue.
Exactly.
You're just like, that's not natural. Come on. Like,
Yeah.
even as a cop, as crazy as you seem, you're
Uh-huh.
like, we have a chance. Like, there's a officer down,
Yes.
all hands on deck.
Yes.
And they're like, no, we're arresting the weird dude that blew out of a cross shaped hole in a weapons plant.
Yeah, and not only is it a weapons plant, but it's a weapons plant of no particular type. It's all types of,
Everything.
rifles and handguns, and it's like a military, let's put it to you this way, you'd wanna know where this is if a zombie apocalypse were to
Oh,
break
yeah.
out, because then you'd be able to protect yourself for a little while.
A lot of
Um,
people will be able to protect themselves for quite a while.
yeah, and the movie really doesn't start to get good until you're out at the little gas station slash restaurant in the middle of the desert.
Right.
Would you
Right.
would you agree with that?
Absolutely. Because that's where everything's going to take place, and you meet our cast of characters.
Yes, and like I said, there's some really good people
There's some
starring in this one.
decent
Uh,
names in here. We got Dennis Quaid, who plays the single father who's running the show, the
yes,
diner out in the middle of nowhere.
yes,
He built, because he knew that this complex and the highway was going to come, and the sons of bitches built it over there. And
yeah,
instead, I
and
built a diner in the middle of nowhere, and that's why your
yes.
brother left me.
And because I pretty much I screwed up, and I love that. I love the fact that he did look at his son, who's played by Lucas Black. Lucas Black is one of those actors you may not know who he is, but when you see his face, you're like, "Hey, I know that guy."
Yeah,
Um,
he's in that thing.
yeah, he's in that. Didn't he play the thing with that thing that had the stuff going on in the thing?
Yes.
That's who that he's got one of those faces, and I hated his name in the show. Why someone would call their son Jeep, I have
Jeep.
no clue.
Yeah, Jeep.
But that's just me. Anyway, I do love the fact that Dennis Quaid, who plays Bob, says to Jeep, "Hey, I don't want you to make the mistakes that I made." But he also has blinders on because of his mistakes and thinks that he's naturally, that Jeep's naturally making them no matter what he does,
Right.
you
Right.
know. So
He wants his kid to move on and get out, but at the same time, it looks like he relies on him to run half of the show.
yeah, it's funny. It's like, oh, it's almost like, oh, go on, get out of here while he's holding him by the wrist.
Mhm.
That's kind of the feeling that you get. It's like, I want you to be more than I am, but I want you to be here with me to be more than I am, and it's kind of a weird,
Yeah,
dichotomy there. Um,
absolutely.
yeah, and then you've got Percy Walker, who plays, Charles Dutton. Or I'm sorry, Charles Dutton plays Percy Walker, who's the, military, because whenever you're having a movie full of guns and gunplay, you have to have an ex-military guy
Yeah,
there.
it pays to have a veteran as a short order cook.
Yep, yep.
Um,
Who's
because
because why? Because it's a horror movie trope, and that and so, but I have to give him this one, he was not the first man to die, so I'm happy about
hey,
that.
yeah, that works.
Yep, yep.
There is somebody that you're hoping is the first one to die, with the wonderful couple and their daughter that come in with a
Yes.
BMW that broke down on the highway. Jeep is fixing it. We know that Jeep has no idea what's going on under the hood of this car, other
This
than there's a
BMW,
lot of computers.
he's like, "It's got computer stuff that we can't do." Yeah, so the couple's played by, John Tenney, and the wonderful Kate Walsh.
Yes, yes,
And she is fantastic. You would know her from, like, Grey's Anatomy and, plus a bunch of other stuff. He's another one of those actors that you're like, he's that guy from that thing who kinda reminds
right.
me of this guy, and,
He
but
was in, yes,
yeah.
probably
Yeah,
whoever you're thinking.
and they're they are the couple that you're supposed to hate,
Yeah,
and boy, do they do a good job of it.
yeah. The rich couple that are just everyone's beneath them. At this podunk little town, this little
Yep.
diner, everything's dirty. They've got an angsty daughter,
Yeah,
Audrey, with them.
yeah.
That they blame each other silently for.
Yes.
They just want to get their car fixed so they can get the hell out of here.
Yeah,
Um,
and the thing that's really, really cool about that is you kinda get the feeling that the dad is kind of aware that the mom is somewhat of a bitch,
oh
and,
yeah,
you know,
yeah,
because he's all the time he's, like, under his breath going, "You don't have to do that."
right.
It's so funny.
Here now.
It's so
Um,
funny.
Yeah, the wonderful Adrian Palicki, who plays the signal pregnant girl that's come back to this nowhere town, um, where she came back. She's 8 months pregnant at the time, and Jeep's love interest. He
Yeah,
is infatuated with the girl, has been for quite some time. Um,
and you come to find out that she doesn't think she's worth his, attention.
right.
Um,
She feels used and abused and better off on her own,
yep,
and he's willing to lay down his life for her and the baby,
yep,
um, just because he loves her.
yep.
And um, again, it's the father kind of looking at him, seeing that his son is willing to throw it all away for a girl, and
He's like,
you know,
"Stop,
no, don't.
don't do this." I first, um, Charlie, Adrian Palicki, I first, became acquainted with her in Agents of Shield,
Okay,
and that was really where I first really okay, because seeing this movie and totally forgotten that I'd seen it.
yes,
It's one
right,
of those movies, unfortunately. I really, I enjoyed her in Agents of Shield. It wasn't the greatest season that they've done. As a matter of fact, it was when they were on the decline, but she was great in it. So when I saw her and I was like, "Oh, okay. She's
right,
there's a bunch of them. She's the girl that was in the thing that did the in
right,
the with the shield thing, right?"
right.
That was
Yes,
her for me.
yes. Yeah, and it's quite a bit of the Kevin Durand is playing Gabriel, the angel Gabriel.
Yes.
He's in another one of those. There's a lot of those actors that have been in a lot of movies. Great supporting characters, all of them.
Yes. Yes, and, Tyrese Gibson was great in this
Oh
movie
yeah,
as well.
definitely.
He's, I if you don't know who Tyrese is, as soon as you see his face, you go, "Oh, Fast and the Furious."
Right.
Um, he's that guy. Extremely funny individual, not only on screen, but just in life, and
Right.
and his charisma carries his character in this movie, to
Yeah.
me. I
Most of his characters in the movies, he has that appeal to really
Mhm.
just play a character very well.
Yeah,
So
and it's funny because he comes across as in this one as being somewhat of an ass at first, but then you start to realize, no, he's really trying to make something of his life. So I thought that his character arc was really, intriguing.
definitely,
Yeah.
definitely. And all of these people are stuck here one way or another. Tyrese, Kyle, he's stuck there trying to find a way. He's on his way to a court hearing, but he wants to see his kid, and he's trying to fit everything into what's going on. Um, Short order cooks taking care of some business, cleaning. We've got Dennis Quaid banging on the TV because that's what you did when stuff wasn't coming in. Sometimes the harder you hit it, the more it would come in.
Every
Um,
time I saw him bang the side of that TV, I said, "Done that."
Been there, yeah. Like, come on, get rid of that white noise, and oh, there it is.
There it
And it's
is.
always one of those that you come to that point where you're like, I this is the one, and you give it that crack, and then it comes on just to let us know that TV's out, and the radio's out,
Uh-huh.
and we don't know what's going on. Kyle comes in, he needs to use the phone. So he's back there and he's basically talking about how he wants to see his son. Yeah, he's going to be
Yep.
there for the court case. Show me my damn kid. I want to see my kid.
Yep. Yep. He's
Dedicated to it.
yeah, he's really doing his best to try to make a difference in his life for his son's sake.
Right.
Is the way I kind of took
That's
it.
how it comes off.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Um, and we've got we've got Gladys who comes into the diner, little old lady showing up in the was it a Tornado?
Yeah, a little old lady in an it's an LTD if I'm not mistaken.
Is it an
Yeah,
LTD?
yep, four-door LTD, and she reminds you of Joan Cleaver,
Yeah, with the
right?
walker,
Uh-huh.
kind of creeping on into this, and she's the happiest little lady. She sits down, Charlie comes over to take her order, and it's all, I'll have the steak, rare if you
Rare.
would, and it's a little talk. She makes some small talk with other people, and then tells Charlie, "Oh, it's a shame your child's gonna burn."
All the babies are gonna
All
burn.
that, and it was like, "What the fuck did you just say?"
And the way she said it is what made it great, because it wasn't like, the demonic voice like you would think or whatever. She's just like,
Happy grandma.
yeah, she's like, "Oh, it's so sad." And she goes, "What's that?" Goes, "That your baby's gonna burn."
Yeah.
All babies are gonna burn, you know?
And Gladys turns from the cute old lady that now everybody's ready to get a piece of her. Like, what'd you say? Like, shut up, whore, to the mother.
Yep.
Like, so of course the
Takes
husband's got to
takes a
stand up.
vampire style bite out of John.
She does the little creepy crawly thing up the wall and onto the ceiling, and then like a damn spider monkey jumps
She turns
on his back.
into Granny Wallcrawler.
Yeah, just what the hell's going? Whoa, what happened to Gladys? She took her sense from Silver,
Oh, I'm telling you, this scene right here, this is one of, like, 3 scenes in this movie that I just went back I sat back and went, "Yeah, okay,
So great because
this is such a
she's
good
got
movie."
these nasty sharpened teeth and
Kinda
rips
look
a
like
chunk out of his neck. And, you're just like, and what are we doing? Like, you've got Dennis Quaid, Bob, the owner of the place, just blasting his shotgun holes into everything because he can't catch the spider monkey on the ceiling. She's just
No,
all over the damn place.
and
Um,
then she jumps on him Jeep winds up with the shotgun.
right, and he can't pull the trigger.
No,
Um,
he's too afraid.
and luckily, Kyle comes in with his 9 millimeter and takes Gladys out, double
Yes,
tap, and
double tap's a good way to put it.
whew, I mean, you have to. I mean,
Yeah.
you see that big nasty teeth on that
Yeah.
thing. Oh, it's crazy.
It's just silly.
If those are dentures, why?
Why? Yeah.
Why? God. Yeah, so and we have this moment of you know Bob and Jeep, like I couldn't do it, like
Yeah.
he feels like an utter failure because he wants to protect this girl, he wants to protect her baby, and he got in the middle of this whole thing, and then somewhat understandable. Gladys seemed like a very reasonable, nice little old lady up until the point she bit, Howard.
Yeah. Until she tore his jugular vein with her teeth.
Right. Maybe she wasn't wrong calling Kate Walsh a whore. I mean, she kind of came off as a bitch.
She sure did. She kinda did, yeah. And let's face it, Kate Walsh, never mind.
What?
As to not be sued and not be shut down.
Grave reviews does not condone.
The opinions of this are that of strictly of the
Strictly of that guy. That guy.
he does the thing sometimes.
That guy. Right. So what's going on? We're all in a tizzy over this. We have no idea what's happening. Outside looks like some crazy stuff. We got a sandstorm coming one way. You've got lightning and stuff coming the other way.
Only you find out it's not sand
No.
because they load the dad into the Suburban and try to get him to the hospital, which is what they
80
say like
miles.
80 miles away, right?
Yeah.
While his
Miles throws Kyle into the expedition, blacked out expedition. They're going to take off down the road. And no, it is definitely not sand. It's flies.
flies.
It's
Real-
a giant swarm.
Yeah, it's real like, plagues of God kind of type thing that's happening.
Yeah. So that way's screwed. We have we don't want to go that way. So they
No.
end up turning around to come back. And we've got Michael that shows up as well. That he comes from Bugville, and he shows up and he's like, "Oh, you haven't heard?" And they're all like, "Yo, Granny in there with the big nasty teeth. You show up with an LA cop car and you're in the middle of the desert, a little far from LA, not dressed like a cop."
No.
They have a little standoff, and to which our angel Michael removes the shotgun from Bob's hands, turns it around on him, and basically tells him, "I don't have time for this shit.
Yeah. And it was really
You don't
smooth
have
how-
time for this shit."
No, and it was really smooth how he took it from him too. He's just like, "Boop,
Flap. Yeah, go ahead. Now I've got it.
now I've got it. You can no longer go bang bang pow pow because I'm going to go bang bang pow
Right.
pow."
I took your boomstick.
Good thing Ash wasn't there.
Right, yeah, that'd be a fight. I mean, Michael might have his money or his trouble cut out for him there. But yeah, it's one of those same team.
Mhm.
I'm here to protect you, Charlie. Your baby's important. And she's like, "What the what?"
The baby that at this point in time she's not even sure she's going to keep. Right.
She's smoking. I mean, she's alluded to the fact that she thought about not keeping the baby.
Putting it up for adoption, whatever the case.
Yeah, she's talked to Jeep about basically starting anew. Once I have this baby, it's off, and baby can find a new family, and I'll move on. And basically it's one of those like, well, the apocalypse is here. You guys haven't heard, and
Yeah.
they're like, demons. He's like, even worse,
No.
angels.
God, this is the point where he pretty much says to him, God has given up on mankind. He has decided he's going to wipe them out.
Right.
And he is going to start over.
Yeah, that's it. He's had enough of your bullshit. I mean, there are times you can look at humanity and go, "Oh, we suck.
Yeah,
We really
we do. And we do.
suck."
But do we need to be completely wiped off the face of the earth? and
There's
start
good in
over?
people. There's good in people. Sometimes they just have to be reminded to not be a dick.
Yeah,
You know, I mean, sometimes it's as simple as that. If anything, wake up every day and not be a dick. That's
Absolutely. I agree with that. That
life
whole
goals. Life
Um,
goals.
It's funny. I tell young people this as often as I can. I said, there's a difference between being nice and being kind,
Mm.
right? Someone who is nice all the time will have a tendency to get walked on. Someone who is kind will not. Always remember to be kind. Be nice when you need to. Be kind at all times. And I think that's really the way that we should live our lives as a whole. And I
Absolutely.
try my best to be that way, to be mindful of other people and to be kind. And God said, "You know what? Ain't enough of you like that. I'm sending Michael. So if you're in the chat and you don't know and you're not brushed up on your perfect Darren, thank you.
Thanks.
Darren in the chat room just reminded us that in order to be kind, you must also rewind.
Right.
If you don't know the biblical aspect of Michael, Michael was the archangel. Michael was he was the badass. He was the
He's the lead general in the army.
he's the lead, yeah, in the Angels army, he is the lead guy. Um, God put his trust and faith in Michael to be sure that any and all smiting that needed to be done got done in his time. It's a really good way to put it, I think. So,
Right. And Michael explains that he disobeyed God. Um,
yep,
he felt that you know, he's wrong on this one, and it's my job to show him that he's wrong on this one.
yep,
So I broke away, cut my wings off, and I'm here to protect this baby that every angel everywhere apparently is on its way to kill.
yes. And it's there's some scenes where they show the angels, like flashback scenes where Michael is talking with Gabriel, and you see all the angels of heaven, the legions of them, which is where the movie comes the title comes from.
Right.
And it's a pretty awe-inspiring thing when you see that. You're like, holy crap, if they were to all come down in that form,
Oof.
what would we be able to do?
Right. Because you see
Not
them kind of basically Matrix style freak out a host and take over somebody. They're possessing people like demons would,
yes.
is what you're kind of glimpsing. And all of these people are coming. Um, all of these angels are coming via people.
Yes.
They are There's stacks and stacks of cars driving down the road that night coming towards them with Michael saying, ready up. This is safety. This is fire.
Mhm.
Because we've got to take these people out. And they do. They have a huge gunfight going off. We've got all of these cars just showing up with all these people, all these angels coming at them in all different ways. We've got the ice cream man. Like, not only are they creepy, not only are they angels hell bent on killing all of us,
Yes.
but they got to come in creepy varieties too, with these big long arms and legs and mouths that drop down to their chests and the heads
Really
and
was kind of an interesting scene. I love the fact that the first real angel that is coming against them came in an ice cream truck. I was like,
with
"That"
the music going.
yeah. I thought that
Come
was
and get it.
genius.
Yeah.
I love it.
And they're looking at him like, maybe he doesn't see us. He sees you, and now he's telling all of them
Yeah.
with this weird scream that comes out. And they do. They lay waste to these angel people that are coming in left and right, stopping them from trying to come into the restaurant, and they're trying. They are trying to get to her in every way possible.
Yep.
And everybody has to pull their weight here, except for Howard, who's still not doing so hot on the ground inside the diner because there's no medical help.
No.
We put some diner napkins on it, and
Yeah.
just put some
And
pressure on it.
you
Damn
know,
it, Gladys.
nice and sanitary with the
Oh yeah,
the
big
bar
pack
back.
of we took the ones that didn't have like residual ketchup grease on it and stuff, so it's kind of clean.
Anyway, oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. So again, like I said, they fight them off for a good chunk of the night until there's a moment of reprise where they kind of stop for a minute and everybody kind of calms down and they all kind of go off in their own way and take watch.
Yep.
And we've got Bob up on the roof keeping watch, and everybody has their moments. We find out that unlike some would say like the Virgin Mary accepting Christ's coming and accepting being we have Charlie who hates being pregnant and hates the child because of what it represents.
And the fact that Michael tells her that, this child is going to, basically save mankind, she's like, "No, no, no, I don't
Nope.
wanna hear it. I don't want nothing to do with it. No."
Right. That's it. And yeah, and of course, we learn all of these different things, and Bob, he drops the ball, man. He kind of dozes off a bit, and allows them to kind of basically come in and kidnap poor Howard,
Yeah.
and put poor Howard crucified outside, upside down, um,
Which was, alright, so
full of
there was
boils.
yeah, the boils was what
That
bothered
was a little much. It was
it was
like,
a little much, but the upside down cross thing, okay, here's my statement on that.
yeah,
Would angels of heaven put him on an upside down crucifix?
would they crucify somebody at all?
Yeah, yeah.
Kind
Well,
of weird.
he wasn't really crucified because he was
Yeah, he's
roped
tied
on.
to, but he
Right,
was upside down,
yeah.
and
So,
yeah,
again,
a little weird.
questionable judgment, right?
Yeah,
Questionable.
questionable. Covered in the boils, which was a little overboard, but made for decent practical effect, I
It
guess.
it was fun. I mean, it was one of those things where you're like, "Really? Was that necessary?" And then you went, "No, it wasn't, but I kinda liked it."
I liked it. And we're just going to chalk it up to the fact that Gladys didn't clean her dentures, and
Yeah, there you go.
you
There
know,
you go.
because
That and the
you can
and
ask the
the
old lady something.
yeah, that and the bar towel neck
Uh,
tourniquet.
Absolutely, yeah. They didn't get all the residual ketchup off the napkins.
Apparently not, because
Got in the
let's
wound. Ooh.
do
And Sandra, you know, needs to go out there and protect Howard. And she's like something. She's gone.
yeah.
She's
I
lost it.
I don't know. Okay, when I first saw this, I was like, "There's no way I would do that, none." Right? And then started thinking, I was like, "Really, truthfully though, if that were my wife, right, I think I would probably lose my shit and try to go save her too."
At this point, you're accepting that this is the end of the world. That that's an angel in there. That what he's telling me is really happening.
Yeah,
Because
because of everything you've seen to
what
this
I've
point.
seen, yeah, what I've seen so far, yep, he's probably right.
But
This is
but the
the end.
problem with that and me is, okay, so existential conversation here. We as human beings have a tendency not to believe the things that we see
Hmm,
because we choose not to believe them,
that's
right?
true.
It's like we have all this evidence piled in front of us, but we choose to go like this, and that it goes
Oh
against
yeah,
my better judgment of what I believe. So I'm going to do this and pretend like I don't see it.
that's
Uh,
multiple reasons too. You have people that you have stuff in front of them, but it might take a little effort to look something up, and it's just easier to listen to somebody tell me
yeah,
what the answer is.
yeah, yep.
It
I agree.
happens. But yeah, she goes out to save him. They're all trying to grab her. Um, Percy puts himself out there, grabs a hold of her at the last second, spins around as Howard explodes.
The boils start, boiling.
Boom! He turns into thunder from Big Trouble in Little China. There,
Because you know what old Jack Burton says at times like this.
check is in the mail, and Howard's in the air.
Exactly.
And but Percy, being covered in boiled juice is not
Mm,
going to end well. Like,
no, no.
so when Percy spins her around, he takes a full blast and he gets her back inside and he rolls over dead because those it was like xenomorph boils.
Oh my god, I love you so much.
It just he's all eaten up.
Thank you, just broke my soul, my spirit. Oh my god, that's so awesome.
Well, it's just it's the Thursday Night Frights, the Grave Reviews universe here. We'll all connect it all. Boil Juice. That is a band name, dude.
Oh my
That's a
god.
band name. I like it. Yeah, and so
So the
Percy's done.
acid, the xenomorph acid, which is now in the upside down cross spoil guy, um,
Yeah.
uh, basically when he falls, Percy falls face forward, he has all the way to his um, spine and ribs are exposed. It was a pretty neat little effect, special again, a wonderful practical on
Yeah,
screen effect.
that's great.
So,
And that's basically it's one of those there's a radio broadcast that comes through. It says, hey, like we're putting up a fight. We've got a
yep.
haven. It's over here. And Michael is like, you got to get there. You're too vulnerable here. You need people to help you, Charlie. You've got to get there.
No. He
No.
said, "You can't go because if you do, you're gonna have this baby en route, and that is too dangerous."
Ah,
See, we would sit there and go, "Yeah, yeah, you should go. Go be with them. Go blah blah blah." And
right.
Michael's like, "Because everyone is right." I mean,
Yeah.
Dennis Quaid's character, everybody is.
Everybody's saying it. That's
And
true.
Mike,
Michael's like, yeah,
no,
you
because
have the
if you
baby en route, you're screwed.
yeah, you're screwed because there will be no way to protect you. At least here we have some modicum of protection for you.
Right.
Um, and it's I love that you said it that way, Chris, because literally that's what you would think, right? That's what
Right.
we would think.
That's what
Go.
everybody's saying.
Right.
Everybody's saying, like,
Yeah.
hey, there's only one radio broadcast. They obviously are doing something.
Yeah,
Um,
and when Michael said no, and he and they all looked at him like he was crazy, within the first, like, sentence, they were all like, "Oh, yeah, you're
good point.
probably
Yeah,
right."
sure.
Yeah, fuck.
Yeah.
Why you gotta be
Meanwhile,
so right all the time,
Sandra,
Michael?
they've got Sandra wrapped up and taped to everything. She's gone. Like
Mhm.
poor Howard exploded on the cook, and she lost her damn mind. Um, and she's got it in her head that they just want the baby.
Mhm.
That's what this is about. It's just a
Let's
baby.
let's just give it to him.
Let's just give the baby to her. Now, she said some crazy stuff to her daughter when her husband was being sacrificed about how she hates her
Mhm.
and whatnot. Now she's trying to tell her daughter, like, I love you. You're my baby. Why that baby, not my baby? And well,
It gets kinda weird.
it gets very strange. She breaks from the restraints, and Michael will make sure that Sandra does not do anything stupid.
Yes.
He takes her right out. She's
Hey,
done.
and not only takes her out, but takes her out in with due diligence. You have you have no doubt that she's gone.
Oh, yeah. There's no. Could she?
No.
No, she's gone. And that's when the trumpets are playing and
You hear
Gabriel.
you hear the horn of Gabriel.
Yes.
Oh, I was like, okay, again, I
Ooh,
grew up I grew up in
you
a
know who's blowing the
religious
horn.
household. As soon as I heard that, I was like, "Damn, they went there. That's
They
pretty
did.
cool."
They did. And we've got Gabriel coming in. Um, he kills Bob or mortally wounds Bob.
Yes.
He'll have a moment to say his goodbye. Um, and basically, Michael goes to Jeep and's like, find the prophets, follow the directions.
Follow the directions.
And he's like, what the hell are you talking about? What is he talking about? And oh, whoa.
Yeah.
All of Michael's tattoos are now coming upon his arms, and they
Yes.
are. They're more than just the tattoos. The directions of how to stay alive, how to take care of the baby, who to look for, the scripture,
Yep.
all of this.
All of it. It's really a neat thing. I also love the fact that, right before Gabriel and Michael, start to have their fight, Gabriel goes, "You removed your wings," and Michael's like, yeah, he goes, "That's bad. You're gonna need them."
You're gonna need him. I love Kevin Durant. All the parts that he plays. I love his characters.
Yep.
He really kind of plays into it. And this is Michael being the Holy One, looking at his his brother, who's supposed to be in charge of all of this,
Hmm.
and being disappointed in his brother for not following what God told us to do.
But this is my favorite line. Gabriel says, or Michael says to Gabriel, Michael says, "You gave God what he wanted. I gave him what he needed." And I was like, "Wow, that's,
That's a
that's a
heavy
heavy
line
little."
to drop.
Yeah, I was like, "That's a killer,
Yeah,
that's a killer
because
line."
they have a crazy battle
Oh, yes, they do.
of going back and forth. Gabriel's got the wings. Definitely should have kept them, Michael.
Yeah,
Going into this
definitely.
fight because they're bulletproof, so they're all just blasting away at Gabriel, and he's covering up, just spinning at them.
His wings reminded me of, Archangel from the X-Men. They had
Right,
that metallic look and feel to them, to where when
fully shield him.
well, not only that, but the edges are sharp enough that he uses them to
Yeah.
slice
Oh
and
yeah.
cut.
He's
Yeah.
cutting. He's tearing people apart. We're losing everybody here.
Yep.
Bob goes into the night pretty quietly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's all about trying to get Jeep and Audrey into the Jeep and get away. And Michael's trying to kill the time so that can happen. Um, it's this back and forth. Bob, with his trusty lucky lighter that he's been flicking through the whole movie as foreshadowing, is laying in his dying moments with the gas from the ovens on.
Yep.
And, hey, Gabriel, suck my tailpipe.
Boom.
Boom. And even Gabriel's like, oh, shit. And everything
No.
explodes. Jeep and Charlie are blasting down the road. They can see the explosion in the background. Oh dear God, they've got to get to. And son of a bitch, Gabriel is on the roof,
Yeah.
and he's doing everything he can get um to get into that car and
That's
finish this mission. It's
Yep.
This mission is to kill the child. That's why
And
this angel's here.
Yep, and there's 3 of them in the car, right? And the girl that's in the back seat, kinda understands what Jeep is going to do, and she's like, do it now." So, Jeep, like, lays on the brakes, and Gabriel goes flying through the windshield.
Right, angelic missile right through the windshield. Pow. Um, I don't think anybody else was wearing their seatbelt, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, the car rolls and flips and flips and rolls and rolls and flips and rolls, and, the girl in the back seat who was closest to, Gabriel, of course, died. Our hero and heroine at this point in time, Jeep and Mother of the Year, have survived. So, um, now, this is part 2 of where I was literally, like, doing the face palm thing.
Yeah.
They're in the middle of the desert, and they're driving, and they have this wreck, and next thing you know, they're climbing a mountain.
Well, sometimes there's mountains near in the desert.
Well, I mean, it could be. I mean, if they were, around Sedona type desert area. So I
The problem is that they went from driving and crashing in the desert to just walking up a mountain now.
yeah,
I get it. I do like this whole that line that you had said that I gave him what I needed. I love that the fact that he kind of explains it off that the angels have become so blindly loyal to God that they forgot um what love is
yeah,
and what
that
compassion is and what their job is, and that all of those angels are the ones that failed when Michael was the only one to say, I'm taking your teachings, not because you said go do something. It was like Simon Says, and God was like, I didn't say Simon. And Gabriel's like, oh shit.
Yep.
Oops.
It literally was a situation, where, Michael was saying, "Hey, listen, um, I," and I'm paraphrasing it, how he said it, but he said, "I have not forgotten the creed that God created. I have not forgotten how to trust and love mankind."
Right.
And literally all he was saying was, God really hasn't forgotten either. He just needs a reminder.
Right. And yeah, you could see that. It's is he the bad? Is God the bad guy? Sometimes God is the guy with the magnifying glass, and we're the ants. Sometimes it feels that way.
It
It
does
really
feel that
does.
way. It does.
Um, but there's sometimes where everything syncs up in your life to where, hmm, you know what? Maybe something's behind this
Yeah.
because I got a lift right when I needed the lift.
Isn't it funny how in life when things get to the point where you can't take any more, something comes along to give you just a little extra push.
Yep.
Yeah. So I agree.
Yeah, it happens. And it's that whole, because Michael died in the diner and he comes back with his wings. And that's what the big part was, is and what stumped Gabriel was like, how did that happen?
Yeah.
And it's because you failed, not me.
Yeah.
And I think it's that crushing blow to Gabriel, that utter failure of what his job was supposed to be.
Yeah.
And it's one of those, are we ever going to see you again, Charlie and Jeep to Michael? And he's like, have faith.
Yeah. You just have to have faith.
You have to have
Um,
faith.
this was a really fun movie in certain aspects. Is it the best movie I've ever seen? No,
No,
it
of
falls
course not.
really short. And it's funny though, for me, the highlights in this movie are really high,
Yeah.
but the low points are really freaking low too.
The
So,
quirky dialogue
mhm,
does detract a lot in the story building in the beginning. Some
yeah,
of it's like, oh, obvious conversation, normal conversation, and then somebody says something, you're like, that was dumb.
to me also it was a lot of the little, uh, to me, small details often
Hmm.
make a big impression. When our granny grandma comes in and our wall crawling grandma comes in and she orders that steak, the cut of meat she got was freaking beautiful.
Mm.
Big, thick T-bone. When the owner of the restaurant is cooking his own piece of steak
Hmm.
later, it looks like the cheapest piece of meat you're gonna find.
Right.
And I'm thinking to myself, he is grappling with the end of the world. I wouldn't go cheap on myself at that point. I'd
No,
be
this is
going,
the
"Look,
last steak I'm cooking.
this might be the last steak I ever eat. I think I'm gonna eat it. I'm gonna cook one of the good ones."
Right.
So, it was little things like that that made me just sit back, and I know that sounds nitpicky, but it's just, uh, it wasn't just one. There was a lot of
There's a
them
bunch of them in there.
in this movie.
It's fun. Like the one kicker is Gladys. Her
Yeah,
part coming in is so out of left field for a movie. It's not something you see where the cute
yep,
little old lady in the walker sits down. And she's just like, oh hi, I like, everything's nice, and you could all go F yourselves.
yeah,
And you're like, wait, she just say that?
she did, in a horror adjacent movie what, Joan Cleaver did in Airplane.
Okay, yeah,
Okay, I know that I'm stretching a little bit, so be with me for a second because I think once I get done explaining my point, you'll
I
understand where I'm
think I
at.
know where you're going with it.
You know, you would not expect Joan Cleaver to be the one that goes, "Excuse me, miss, I speak jive," right?
Right.
And you cracked up because it came from so far out of left field.
Hmm.
They took that same lady who gave you that everybody's mom feel
Hmm.
and turn and in that same sweet voice that she's been using, let them know that all the babies are gonna burn. You know,
Yeah.
it
Oh.
it literally when it happened, we were all like, "What the f happened?"
Whoa.
You know, so it was the same, but the other side of
Yeah.
that, coin, if you will.
Right.
So, uh
Completely out of left field, an attitude you wouldn't expect from.
nope, nope. And then the movie ends, of course, with Jeep and Mother of the Year. I don't even wanna say what her name is. Um, You know, I did like the fact that they're traveling down the road and they're kinda talking or, about it, whatever, and the camera scans through the vehicle, and the back of it's just loaded
Full of
full
guns.
weaponry.
Yep.
I was like, "Yes."
Jeep
Um,
Charlie and Charlie Jr. in a Jeep
yep,
Wagoneer. Jeep Wagoneer.
an interesting little plot twist and,
Yeah.
because, she did finally accept her role, um, and what she knew she was going to anyway. So,
Yeah.
on a scale of 1 to 10, Chris, 10 being this movie transcends to 1 meaning, oh my God, that's an hour and a half of my life. I'll never get back. I'm kind of pissed now. 5 hits all the marks. Where
Yeah.
would you put Legion
This movie's definitely hits all
today?
the marks. Today, watching it, I still think it's fun. I like the action in it. It is the horror theme is so small in this movie,
Mhm.
so it becomes a horror adjacent type movie.
Yep. Yep. I agree.
Because of that flip on the whole, it's not demons, they're angels. Like they're the
Right.
good guys, and God is leading them to take us all out. Wow, that's heavy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that game I did like. There the dialogue is still corny, you
Yes.
know, 14 years later.
Yeah,
So
it was corny then, it still is.
yeah. But I love I like the story. I thought it's a fun movie. I'd give it probably I'd probably say a 7. Um,
Oh, wow.
maybe I'll go 6.5. I'll go six
Okay.
and a half because we didn't see a boob. So
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Alright, so you're not gonna like this.
where do you
Um,
got this one?
I'm at, like, okay, 5 hits all the marks for me. This movie definitely does not hit all the
Ooh,
marks because, like we said, there were certain things that, details that were um, felt very rushed. There were certain things in the movie that really felt out of place.
okay.
I'm looking at this thing as being like a 4.5 out of 5,
Ooh.
or out of 4.5 out of 10.
Ooh.
I don't hate the movie.
Right.
I don't hate it at all, but I don't think it's as I think a lot of the people who were commenting going, "Oh, Legion, I can't." They're using a member berries. They're not watching it with fresh eyes. That's just me. But now that doesn't mean that it's not going to rate higher in our list, because our list means something completely different. Our list
Right.
is this movie fun? Did it I have a good time watching it? Would I possibly watch it again?
Yeah.
Um and 2 is not Deep Impact, 2 is Pearl. Why does it do this? Ah,
Oh yeah, forgot to look
Pearl.
at that one.
Oh my gosh.
No, we did not rate Deep Impact above Trick or Treat.
Oh, absolutely not.
No, no,
Oh
that's
my
well, I'm not even gonna say that for a soundbite.
no. Alright, well, I'll put the picture in later, but nonetheless,
And
anyway.
it'll take it out next week. It's okay.
Yeah, it will. So it I'm gonna go right in the middle of the pack right now. Do you foresee this movie being a movie that you would watch before
No,
Zombieverse?
no,
I'm
we're gonna go low zombie verse.
so glad you said that. What about Wolf Cop?
I think to me, it's right around a Wolf Cop. It's fun. I thought it was just as fun this time through as it was the first time
Yeah,
that I watched it. I
yep,
think it's a movie we owned on DVD, so I probably watched it several times back in the day. Um, right, the little kid demon
yeah, I
was
agree with
great,
that.
good
We
stuff. You
Yep, very
save the
good.
child, and the son of a bitch is cackling in your arms, and he's gonna bite you.
Yes, I love the
Bullshit.
fact that he's like, basically, he pulled a "I got you" kind of scenario. I would say I would put this one right below Wolf Cop. That's my personal opinion. I'll give it to you if you wanna stay in front of Wolf Cop. Um,
We could keep it there. I'm right around the same with those two.
okay,
It was fun. It's I think the fun part being the action and the twist kind of stuff. There's some great action in this movie, especially at the end.
absolutely.
It ends heavy. It ends hard with a great battle between two angels. So yeah, it's entertaining.
Yeah.
So I would say yeah, we could keep it right at 28 there. I'm
Okay,
happy with
well,
it.
you know what happens when I switch screens?
Switch screens. It's in.
It is locked in. All right.
Good
I saw while we
Sharknado.
were talking there that we saw, yeah, right there was, mhm.
Um, I
Now,
saw that.
I'll take it
Ethan
easy
stopped
because
in.
poor LG's had a rough week. She's probably sleeping right now, so I won't pick. I'll wait till she's awake to pick on her for sure.
Yes, yes, we missed her being in the chat room tonight, really did.
Absolutely,
Anyway, I saw ETEP stopped in. I wanted to be sure to say hello.
definitely. Thanks,
Thank
man.
you so much for stopping in tonight. I know that you have a stream coming up soon, so you get that thing and kill it. Just have as much fun as you can,
Definitely.
and hopefully that channel just continues to grow. I'm going to tell you what, if you guys get a chance to stop in and watch Wrestling with Horror on a Tuesday night after they're on, you should really check them out. Good people over there, good people indeed. And
Helpful discussions.
I also wanted to plug another one. Keith put in the chat earlier
Yes.
tonight that he has a show coming up, a Silver Spear here. The layman will be on the podcast with of Pain to talk about Friday the 13th, Part 7. That's tomorrow night. So, guys, check that out as
Yes,
well.
definitely.
Definitely want to be sure to let everyone know about our friends out there and the things that they're doing. Is there anything else you would like to say about this movie or anything else we've got tonight, sir?
Let's see. I think we've covered just about anything. One neat little thing is if you had seen in the beginning the police car having 1127, they did go down to the very little nitty gritty and pick numbers out and throw some little Easter eggs in there. That is the angelic number. So putting it on the police car was one of those like
Oh,
Michael
nice.
Michael's on board. That's a little Michael on board sticker in the back. No, it's a fun movie. Good time talking about it. I had a feeling you were not going to like this movie.
I it
I'm
wasn't
glad you
that
liked it more than I thought you would. I thought you were going to be like, oh fuck, he did it to me.
No, no, there's a couple of and the reason I say this because I remembered the scene with the grandma, and I remembered the scene with the boy. I
Mhm.
loved the ice cream truck. I loved
Yeah,
all that type of thing.
right.
So it was like, eh, I liked it, but it wasn't
Yeah,
great.
right,
And I like Paul Bettany a lot, so, there's that as well, so
right. No, but it's good. So, since we're all here, if you go to bio.link/graverev, that'll take you to all of our socials. You can find out what is Alan and Chris doing on this Tuesday, Thursdays. It'll take you to our Insta, our Facebook, our X, our merch store, our TikTok. You can go there. We post stuff through the week, leading you into what we're trying to do on Tuesdays. Apologize for this past Tuesday. Adulting is bullshit.
mm, no
But
one should
we'll
have.
be back. I will plug this for Tuesdays. We are looking at trying to take a journey with all of you. So if you listen to this right now, it's Thursday. We're live. In Tuesdays, when we're not live, we're going to be talking about Midnight Mass. And we want
Yes.
you to watch along with us. I tell you what, this is the second watch through we're doing for our Tuesday Terrors. And God, I love this thing more now, watching it another time through.
It's really funny. Chris and I were talking about that is that we both really enjoyed it the first time. The second time, it's a completely new light on it, and you're picking up little tidbits of pieces that you didn't do the first time. So yeah, if you guys get a chance to, if you want to follow along with us, we're literally Tuesday night. We're going to be talking about episode 1, and then the following basically it's 7 weeks
Seven.
long.
Yep, seven
So for
episodes.
7 weeks in a row, we'll be talking about this wonderful show and a show at a time, and that way you guys can take the journey with us, and we could all hold hands and skip merrily along to Crockett Isle.
Right. Yep.
So
All part of the crock pot.
all pot of the crock pot, exactly. Um, so we have our bio link .graverev or /graverev is in the chat there, so you can connect to that. Be sure to slash that like button um, and toll that bell so that you can keep up with what we're doing and so that we can keep up with what you're doing. Because as Chris and I have discussed in private, you guys all smell really different when you're awake, just so you know.
You're better when you're sleeping, but
Yes, yeah,
sometimes.
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 Anyway, that all being said, Chris, would you have anything you'd like to leave us with tonight?
Nope. Thank you for joining us tonight. We'll hope to see you on Tuesdays and Thursdays for all of Grave Reviews Presents. Check out our shorts through the week on our socials, and stay spooky out there, friends.
Absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, we really appreciate you being here. As we always like to say, as we're signing off, may all of your nightmares be groovy. Until we meet again, love you guys. Have a great night, and we will see you on Crocodile Tuesday night. See you
Peace.
then.